Hey guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to do an update to a story I did about a week ago titled, I cut ties with my friend after he obeyed his wife's demands for an open marriage and turned on me. And guys, as a quick recap, that's all about the guy who ultimately ended up cutting ties with his buddy, a guy he considered to be a brother of 15 years, after he crossed the line, after he literally turned on him with regards to his wife, threw him under the bus and all that. If you recall, this guy, his friend of his, truly can get the award of the SIMP of the decade. Honestly, he could be walking around with a big S on his chest like Superman. Instead of Superman, it's Super SIMP. And this guy finally had enough of it after this guy openly admitted that his wife demanded an open marriage. This guy went along with it, etc., etc. And if you recall, this is the guy who, for a year, this guy cut him off because his wife didn't like that he was in a friends with benefit relationship with a girl, even though his wife obviously is a cheater, a liar, brings all this turmoil to this guy's life. And in my opinion, this woman just wanted to cut ties with this guy so her husband, she could have all to herself in control. And it finally ended when the guy, he introduced him to my work, showed him some videos, and the guy didn't like me very much. Big surprise there. Blue pill guys do not like my work. And he said, from what you're telling me, I think your wife's cheating on you. And he didn't want to hear it, but then eventually he found out that she was, and she demanded an open marriage. Demanded. And he, of course, took it just for the family, for the kids and all that. And this guy couldn't stand hearing it. This guy even apparently went and told his dad what he did, and his dad couldn't believe he raised such a weak guy. And then it got worse where the wife's lover broke up with her. And she was crying in this guy's arm about it, and he was there-thering her that her lover dumped her. Unbelievable. And that's when this guy had enough of it. He said, that's it. I don't want to hear about this shit anymore. Call me pretty much when you get over it, when you divorce her, and just start moving on. And he wanted to know, did he do the right thing? And I told him, yes, he did. Because he doesn't need that in his life. I explained the old saying about we're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And you spend around all your time with a bunch of people that are weak, pee-whip guys, or guys that are losers, or guys that are into unhealthy lifestyles, it's going to rub off on you. So after all the chances he gave him, yes, he should have done that. And I forgot the most important part. The guy threw him under the bus. The guy went and reported to his wife about what the guy was talking to him about, all that. And she then called him up on the phone, yelling at him, making threats, that type of thing. And that did it for him. Now, after that very long intro, thank you for bearing with me, we're going to pick up where things left off with some updates about the situation, things going on with that guy, his parents, all that. So he continues on. He says, hey, SSM, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I can't sleep. So I figured I'd write to you and the brothers an update on my saga with my ex-friend Rick. I'll start by saying that we are no longer friends. One of the brothers in the comments section of the video you did call Rick an emotional vampire. And that comment hit me like a semi-truck. Rick is an emotional vampire. While I've been there for Rick through many of his hard times, he was never shown up for any of mine. Well, that ought to tell you everything you need to know. You know, the tough times can really show who your friends are and who your friends are not. So in a way, it's kind of a mixed blessing because then we can cut people out of your life that aren't there for you. For instance, my grandfather, who was my father figure, passed 9 years ago, and I had a mental breakdown over it, and when it happened, Rick was not there. When the last woman I dated ghosted me for her ex, which we had been in a relationship for 8 months, Rick sided with her. After she tried to apologize to me for what she did through a third party, I was not so nice to the person she sent to apologize. I told Rick about it, and he said that she deserved a better man than me. Bro, all these signs from the universe, this Rick guy's a jackass. Not worth your time. I didn't talk to him for about 6 months after that. I should have cut him off then, but I didn't because I thought we were brothers. Clearly you weren't. Remember I tell you guys, pay attention to people's actions, not their words. His actions have shown consistently this guy isn't his friend. And of course, remember the whole year he wouldn't talk to him because his wife didn't like him. Didn't like he was having a friends with benefits. Those are just a few of the times Rick has let me down. I'll get to the update, but first I want to address some questions from the video and the comment section. Number 1. Rick's dad is not a weak man. He and Rick's mom are very traditional. In fact, when Rick told him about the open marriage situation, he said that if his wife, Rick's mom, ever asked him for open marriage, that she'd be sitting alongside the curb with the rest of the trash and he asked Rick's mom for an open marriage. He hoped that she'd wreck him in divorce court. There you go. I had wondered if this dude's father set a weak example, and that's why Rick is the way he is. And I know a lot of you guys wondered that too, but clearly that's not the case. There are times you can have a strong father, a traditional father, and still the sons end up being weak pussies, for lack of a better term. Who knows what molded him that direction, but it happened. Number 2, to clear something up about the friends with benefits relationship that I was in, the woman was an acquaintance of mine who pitched the idea to me. She was single, and so was I, and it was a great setup until she wanted more, so we broke it off because of that point. Because at that point, I decided that relationships weren't for me. No drama ensued. It was a clean break. Yeah, you were 2 adults having an adult friends with benefits relationship. Both parties were fine with it until she wanted something more. No problem. But this guy blabbed to his wife about your relationship with her, friends with benefit relationship. She probably used it as an excuse to try to, I don't like that type of behavior, and didn't want her husband around you in case you'd give him some bad ideas. Not that that guy's capable of ever doing that. And that's what happened. It was none of his business, none of her business. Number 3, Rick only stopped talking to me for about 3 weeks when his wife disagreed with the friends with benefit relationship that I was in. I was the one who refused to talk to him for a year. Oh, okay. I got you. I should have been done with him, but his eldest son, who was 4 or 5 years old at the time, wanted to know where Uncle Gray was. Well, in that case, I mean, they're fine. It wasn't as dramatic about the whole not talking to you for a year because his wife didn't want you to. But still, the fact that he didn't talk to you for weeks, I don't care whether it was weeks or a year, still showed he was a jackass. But I get you liked his son, but that's no reason to stay friends with somebody who's a jackass because you feel bad for their kids. Number 4. Rick, Becky's this guy's wife, and I met at a job when we were in our 20s. Becky was fresh out of a failed marriage. He says in parentheses, alleged abuse from the husband when she and Rick started dating. As a matter of fact, I think there was some overlapping between the two. She went from her ex-husband's house straight to Rick's parents' house. Rick was living with his parents at the time. It wasn't long after that she and Rick got married. I'm pretty sure she was pregnant at the wedding as well. So already at that age, she had already been married once. What does that say? I mean, come on here. And he said here that he rushed into it. That's what nice guys do. That's what guys that don't have a lot of options do. They finally get a girl who pays attention to them because they spent their whole teenage years, high school, college, not having girls pay attention to them. They get to their 20s. Finally, a remotely good-looking girl pays attention to them, and they do everything they can to lock her into a relationship and rush her to the altar as fast as possible, even though what they're really doing is rushing their own demise. Of course he's that guy. Never do that. Number 5. Rick doesn't take after his father. His father is an avid hunter and fisherman. He's an outdoors type of guy and can talk to anyone. Rick is an introvert who's into anime, video games, and e-transportation, like I am. He didn't really date in high school, and I'm pretty sure Becky is his first or second relationship. Well, there you go. Of course, I completely believe that. Because guys that have never date, never hook up, and are dreaming to get laid, the first girl that pays attention to them, they will kiss their ass, do anything to keep rushing them to the altar. You get the point. And the women treat them like shit because they treat that woman like she's the end-all, be-all of human existence. They put them on the pedestal, whatever she does. They just bow down and kiss her ass, and she's the queen and all that, and it's the worst thing you can do. No woman in human history, has ever respected a guy that treats them like they're the center of the universe. They only respect the guys that make their purpose and goals and success the most important thing and put them dead last. Doesn't mean that they treat them like crap. It's just that they got things much higher to put on the top of the priority list than her. And the way she treats him is a perfect example of that. The problem is, guys like that don't want to hear reality. As your friend Rick, your ex-friend Rick, didn't want to hear reality when he showed him my channel. And if you all recall, guys, he showed him my channel, and the guy instantly thought I was a douchebag. And that's almost always the thing that the nice guy, blue pill types have been brainwashed by the narrative always say. But some come around. Some then don't listen to what I say. They do what I say not to do. And they get their hearts ripped out. And some come around and say, you know what? That guy was right. I didn't like him. I didn't like that he did his videos in his car. I didn't like he wore sunglasses like he's so cool. I didn't like the way he talked. I didn't like this. I didn't like that. But you know what? He was right. So I'm going to give him a chance now. And on occasion, I get an apology email from a guy who thought I was a jackass until he learned the hard way. But something tells me this guy ain't going to learn. Now for the update, he says. This past Saturday, I received a call from Rick's dad. We'll call him Mr. Mac. He called to talk about what's going on between Rick, Becky, and I. He said that he feels like Rick is only giving him half-truths and asked me to lay it out for him. Because he trusts you that you're an actual man and you're going to stick to your word, not sugarcoat things or BS him like his son. Rick told his father that he currently wasn't talking to me because I was causing problems within his marriage. But when Mr. Mac asked him what problems Rick wouldn't say. So I told Mr. Mac everything. How my knowledge led to Rick finding out that his wife was cheating, to Rick holding his wife while she cried about her lover dumping her, to me calling Rick a pathetic excuse of a man, and how he was raising weak men, and to Becky sending me threatening text messages. There he covered it all. Mr. Mac was shocked. He knew that Becky wanted to try an open marriage, but was told by Rick that he shut it down, and they were stronger for it, and how I was the issue because I was jealous of his marriage. He shut it down. Not exactly. He says here, this is something I don't understand, SSM. Jealous of what? A guy that's working 60 plus hours a week to make ends meet while his wife is at home with her latest meetup. I corrected him and told Mr. Mac I was the one who cut contact with Rick initially until Rick saw the light, but I told him that I've been reflecting on my 15-year relationship with his son, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't want anything to do with Rick anymore. I'm sure that wasn't easy to say to his dad, a guy who you obviously like and respect, but a man like him is going to respect your being direct and respect your being honest, even though it probably isn't easy to say, and probably respect your reasons behind it. And to address your question about jealous of what, because in the last video, the guy said, when this guy told him about, the guy Rick was stating all these things about his wife, like she's going away for these long weekends and there's all this suspicious behavior. This guy says, I think she's cheating. Told about my channel, and this guy immediately just started yelling at him and said that you're jealous of me. And the guy's like, jealous of what? That's, I'm guessing, his knee-jerk reaction. Like, he's pissed off and he's being defensive. He's like, well, you're jealous. Yeah, he's really jealous of you, married to a woman who treats him like shit, cheats on him, demands an open marriage, amongst many other things. Yeah, he's really jealous of that. Come on here. That's his knee-jerk reaction. I don't think deep down he really believes you're jealous. This guy's jealous of you. He said, one of the comments said that Rick was an emotional vampire who didn't care about me and thought I would only wanted to dump his negative emotions on me. And that person is 100% correct. Mr. Mac and his wife have been good to me over the years, but I told them this will be the last time we speak to each other on this side of the pond, and to tell the boys I wish them long and happy lives, and please don't end up like their dad. Mr. Mac said he doubted they would, and that the 14-year-old already openly calls his dad a yes man. See, this guy's own kids can see what he's like. There are some situations, guys, where you could have a household where you have a weak-ass father raising boys, and they're disgusted by the way he acts. I had a friend in high school like this. His dad was a really good guy, a nice guy, but he was so pee-whipped by my friend's mom. And my friend acted just like his dad early on with girls. But just like his dad, he got walked all over and treated like shit. So one day he said, I ain't going to do this anymore. And started doing the opposite. He started being kind of an asshole to girls. And guess what happened? All of a sudden the girls were flocking to him. And even his dad said, I don't like the way you're treating these girls. But he wasn't going to be like his father. So I wonder what happened, because we parted ways after high school and college and everything. But he wasn't going to be like his dad, because he saw, because his dad was like that. His grandfather was like that. His uncle was like that. All the men in his family were weak. He wasn't going to be that way anymore after the girls treated him the way the women in the family treated the men. And it's interesting. So it's pretty good here that this guy's son sees that his dad's a weak you-know-what. Mr. Mack said he doesn't understand that, but he does now. To cut Rick off completely. I have to cut Rick's family off completely as well. It sucks because Mr. Mack was the cool dad type, and these boys are like my nephews. I was Uncle Gray. I can't even leave the window open for when they get older, because inviting them in is inviting Rick and his wife in as well. I don't want people like that in my life. I don't blame you, man. Nobody else here on the channel can blame you. That's pretty much it. Now here I am in my late 30s, trying to make friends because my one and only friend turned out to be a dud. Maybe I'll try some martial arts classes to meet some new people. Anyway, thanks SSM in the community. Best regards, Gray. Well, bro, it's never easy realizing the people that you cared about and that you did things for and you were a good friend to care less about you. It's a tough thing to deal with. Or realize that people you thought were your friends were not your friends. But it's better to be alone than have people that are stabbing you in the back and bringing drama and turmoil into your life. I think those boys and that guy will be fine because they at least have their grandfather who's strong to look up to, and they already see their dad's a pussy, so hopefully they'll be okay. As for his parents, I kind of disagree with cutting them off because you can have a relationship with them without Rick, because if the dad respects you, and it sounds like he does, he can respect your reasons why you're not talking to his son, and you can still talk to them and just say, look, I really appreciate it. You don't bring me up with Rick and all that because it's a bad place. And if he understands where you're coming from, so I would rethink that part. Don't make an absolute decision with regards to his parents just now, because his dad sounds like a cool guy. I mean, really. But as for your Rick, your so-called ex-friend, and his wife and all that, you got to cut him off. And I know you like the kids and everything, but that's no reason to stay friends with this guy who is full of shit, a backstabber, and you just don't need that in your life. And yeah, you go out there, like you said, join a martial arts school or something, and you'll get to meet guys that are goal seekers or mountain climbers. Martial arts training really is a bonding experience for guys because it's hard. It's hard work, it takes a tremendous amount of dedication and discipline, and you meet a bunch of guys that are in the same thing like you. You're all going to be kind of like-minded because it's hard work, because you're going to be ambitious guys going somewhere. And let me tell you, when you're beating the crap out of each other and making each other bleed and all that, it's a great bonding experience for bros. And I know this because I did it for years. And you'll make some new friends. Just be yourself, have a good time, and realize not everybody that crosses your path is going to become your best friend, but you just never know. It may happen. But get yourself out there, do things you enjoy, meet people, and I wish you the best. But there's a point, guys, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. And he tried to help this guy, and it just didn't work. And this guy he deserves what's coming. End of story. You should be done. And it's tough cutting people off. And sometimes time may pass, and you may see the past through the old rose-colored glasses. You can't let that happen. Just remember what happened. But again, rethink the part with his dad, because his dad sounds like a cool guy. You can maintain a relationship with him without the son, and he's an adult, so obviously that can be done. Just reconsider that part. But other than that, you're handling it right. So I wish you the best. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think in the comment section. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.